Test, test. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your final 2-minute warning for the silent auction. We'll be shutting her down in 2 minutes, so get your bids in fast and furious. Thank you.
Welcome to the 27th Stratford Rotary Dragon Boat Festival. This year's event is packed with exciting races involving 44 teams, including 6 breast cancer survivor teams.
On behalf of the Rotary Club, I just want to welcome everyone out on this beautiful day to the banks of the Avon River. This event takes a lot of effort to pull off. We have over 130 volunteers here today. This year, we are fast approaching $1 million in funds. That $1 million goes toward making this community a better place to be and the world a better place to be. And I can't think of a better place to be today than down here on the banks of the Avon River, enjoying some entertainment, enjoying the races. All the best for great racing today.
It starts with a paddle and becomes something powerful. For nearly 30 years, the Stratford Rotary Dragon Boat Festival has united teams, spectators, and a community, all racing for something greater. Unlike most dragon boat festivals, where the spectators on land are a significant distance from the boats offshore, Stratford's races unfold along the gentle and picturesque Allen River, with spectators lined up right along the river's edge, within earshot of those boaters, merely meters away. This is unique in dragon boat racing, and both spectators and boaters alike have made it very clear over the years that they love it. Come on! 2025 marks the return of something special, a series of races where every stroke of the paddle will support a place of peace and compassion, the Rotary Hospice Stratford Perth. Whether you're paddling for fun, for fitness, or for a cause, this is your moment. Join us on Stratford's Avon River and be part of something that matters. Grab your paddle, rally your crew, and race for community causes that touch us all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if I can have your attention. How was dinner tonight? Thank you so much to the Arden Park and their staff. We have some local dignitaries here tonight that I'll call up to give some greetings. We have, she's back, Her Worship, Mayor Rhonda Eggets from Perth East. If you'd like to come up and say hello.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to your event. It's really an honor to be here tonight with all of you. On behalf of the Township of Perth East, I bring greetings and congratulations. It was great to see all the groups that are here, the awards that you've received, and all that you do. And without you, it wouldn't be possible. So thanks again. Thanks for inviting me, and have a great night.
Thanks, Rhonda. And a familiar face to a lot of local people here, our President and CEO of the Huron-Perth Healthcare Alliance, and my neighbor, Andrew Williams.
Thanks very much, Brent. It's a privilege for me to be here this evening. I think I get invited because I'm the only Ottawa Senators fan in this community, and they're feeling particularly bad for me tonight. I know, yeah. The upside, though, in fairness, they said when you bring greetings, only have a minute. But because I have nothing else to do, so when I was thinking about what I could say, I work in the local healthcare system and have had the opportunity to witness the Rotary clubs in action here for years. And there's kind of three words that I would use to summarize my perception of our local Rotary clubs, Rotary International, the Rotary Foundation, and all the great work you do. The first one is humbling. It is humbling for me to be here with such a dedicated group of individuals. You know, we all have one thing in common, and that is we lose time every day. And time is the most valuable commodity that we have. And people who give of their time to make our communities better are humbling. And so I thank you for that. And I looked at all of the various projects around the room, and it just doubles down on how fortunate we are to have the individuals that we do in this room and in Rotary across the world. The second word is impact. The impact that you have on the lives of so many. And so I can bring a very unique perspective because our organization has benefited by close to $600,000 from our local Rotary clubs over the years, which is absolutely outstanding. So thank you for that. And I could list the projects, but I'm going to do one particular shout out because back in 2006, the local Rotary Club, we were going through a redevelopment at one of our hospitals. They wanted to have their name associated with the mental health unit. And if you think about mental health and addictions, there's no more important issue in the health and wellness space than supporting those with mental health challenges, with addictions, particularly our youth. And at that time, it was not a very visible area of focus. And so the Rotary clubs here said, you know what, we're going to put priority to this. We're going to elevate the visibility in the community. And I would suggest that it has expanded significantly our abilities locally to support those in need. So kudos to that leadership. So impact is the second word. And the third word is integrity, right? I mean, we look around the world today, there's lots going on, there's lots of challenges. When you see the Rotary logo, you know that whatever they're aligning with is the right thing to do because of the integrity of the brand. And so I can't thank you enough for what you do as individuals, the support that you provide all of our communities locally and around the world, and the bar you set for integrity of behavior. Thank you ever so much for being here.
Thank you, Andrew. And finally, I think he was hoping to come here as our next MP, but that didn't happen. Our local Liberal candidate, David Mackey.
Thank you, Brent, I think. I'd like to thank the organizers for inviting me here today, and I appreciate the chance to say a few words, and I'll make sure that I keep them brief. The Rotary Club boasts a remarkable history of service, which extends across borders and around the world. The guiding principles of Rotary, particularly the four-way test, truly distinguish this organization. I believe leaders in the political space would do well to observe and learn. They would do well to observe and learn the leadership provided by the Rotary Club. I'm sure you'll agree that we can all benefit from fostering greater goodwill and building stronger friendships within the communities wherever they may be. Thank you.
Thanks, David. Now we're going to jump right into our next presentation here. And it's my great pleasure to introduce two very distinguished and powerful women within our own little community here of Stratford. We're going to have a conversation. It's called The Road to Peace Begins with Youth. And it's a conversation, we've got the chair set up here, between Lorena McKennett and Judy Madron. Lorena is a Juno Award-winning singer, composer, philanthropist, and independent businesswoman. She has sold over 14 million records worldwide, has been inducted into the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame, is a member of the Order of Canada, and was formerly honorary colonel to the Royal Canadian Air Force for 19 years. Her many philanthropic endeavors include establishing the Stolen Child Project, devoted to challenges facing youth in the 21st century. Judy Madron, if you're a CBC listener, is former host of CBC's radio's World Report, and also a recipient of a Governor General's Award for her Christmas Carol readings. Any of you here in Stratford, you've probably been to those. It's a widely popular annual event. She now focuses her time on her business Sound Portraits, recording audio biographies of people for their families. She's also a grateful supporter of the Rotary Hospice of Stratford Perth. Please give a warm welcome to both Lorena McKennett and Judy Madron.
Six inches, Lorena, that's what they told us. Here we go. Oh, it's wonderful to be here. And does anybody here know the game Two Truths and a Lie? Yeah, so I'm now going to say that I shared a stage with Lorena McKenna. I feel honored to be with you, Lorena. Thank you so much. And thank you for everyone for coming to be part of this Rotary District 6330, that's right, 2025. And I know that you're going to be moved and fascinated and perhaps moved enough to do something by Lorena's passion for the healthy future of the youth of Canada. So let's dive right in. Lorena, your music career is very well known, and many of us have snapped up your CDs when they appear. But we perhaps know a little less about your civic activity and advocacy. And the last time we connected was when you were hosting some films on children and youth and technology. Mm-hmm. And you were also presenting to school boards and writing opinion pieces. What was it that focused your attention on youth?
Well, I guess I could begin by saying that I'm a mother, a single mom actually, without extended family where I live. But also in 2000, I purchased the Falstaff School and helped transform it into a family centre. Although we don't run much programming ourselves, we certainly provide the space for different organizations. We had the Early On program there for 20 odd years. We now have the Thames Valley Children's Centre who are delivering programming for autism. There's a private school upstairs and there's art. So through the lens of the comings and goings of that building, I hear the children, I see the children all the time, and different families and different kinds of children. And
just so that we connect, we all remember parts of being a teenager. Even without technology, teenagehood is a challenge. You grew up in Morden, Manitoba, a town with a few thousand people at the time. And Lorena, you told me a wonderful story about being a teenager there. Would you share it?
Yes, I'll share it. I don't know what it illustrates, but I'll share it. I mean, Morden was a really, really wonderful, and still is a wonderful community to have grown up in, largely because of the scale and people knew each other, and it was definitely a childhood that, you were sent outside by your parents and told not to come back until the street lights came on, so that kind of thing. But the story that you're referring to is actually when I was entering high school, and we had our freshie year, and on that day when all the grade 9 students had to go out and pick up garbage around the parks and so on. And I was only starting to become interested in boys, and my brother helped set me up with a date for the freshie dance. And on that particular day, I'd gotten up very early, I washed my hair, and I put in those crazy pink curlers, those fluffy kind of pink curlers. And I put a kerchief on my head and went out for the day to pick up all this garbage, as the grade 9s were to do. And this one fella came along, and he just had mischief in his eyes. And not only that, he had a handful of eggs. And he lifted up my kerchief, and it just went like this. And I turned around and clocked him.
Yes!
And my math teacher, who had to have been, close to retirement, was standing there just seeming to enjoy the episode. But I have not made it my practice to do that, to solve.
Well, I think
this is about peace after all.
I think that just says that you knew what was right. That's what it says to me. And we're going to get now to the title. You suggested for our conversation that it could be called "The Road to Peace Begins with Youth." How did you come to that?
Well, when I became aware that this conference was really focusing on peace, and the conversations I'd had beforehand were less about music, but more about my passion about the state of childhood, I got thinking that in a world, if we're wanting a world of peace, we really need to start with the children and make sure that they are good. I think of, all those wonderful people that some of us who are old enough to have encountered, at least remotely, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, and that these individuals don't just fall out of the sky. They are shaped by the community and the family and the various other kinds of influences. So it really got me thinking about taking stock of childhood today and saying, how are we doing in raising children who are healthy and comfortable in themselves to then go on be citizens that are advocating for peace or leaders that are advocating for peace. So that was really how I came to the title.
At dinner, we talked about that you like to grow things, and you need the right conditions to grow things, and that's the same for children. What are the right conditions to grow up to be citizens and leaders who can advocate for peace?
Well, this is where I need to be sure and jump in and say this is not my training. This is, when I speak tonight, it's really as a passionate mother and a citizen and the founder of the Falstaff Family Centre and what I've witnessed. But I think there are many, many conditions that I think that are needed for a healthy childhood. I think the one that is universal that many people would recognize is that children need to be loved unconditionally. They need to have a sense of belonging. They need more time in the natural world. I also think of an anthropologist called Robin Dunbar, and he researched primates, and one of his queries was, was there any physical element that predetermined a group size, like a pack of wolves being 40 or a herd of elephants being 125 and so on? And he found that there was a correlation between the size of the neocortex and the primate group size, and that
The size of the brain.
yeah, that region of the brain, and that determined what size that group was. And then it turns out for us as a species, it's around 150 to 200 people. And so when I'm in Falstaff each day, it's a building built for about that number. But when one thinks about it, it's a scale of people that you know others, they know you, they're invested in you, they may take care of you. And I think that this then goes into even a sub-subject of urban design and architecture. How are we doing with that? I know one of the other elements of a healthy childhood that's raised by Jonathan Haidt in his bestseller, Anxious Generation, that children are simply not spending enough time playing, not playing with technology, but playing outside. And but the one thing that I felt that he perhaps didn't cover in his book, Anxious Generation, was that you need to have a good, strong urban or environment, whether you're living on the farm, but particularly if you're living in cities, that you can walk or bike to the store, you can bike to or walk to the school. And I think that when I have added up some of these pieces of what I've read and what I've heard, that we may be living very, very beyond our scale. And and artificially by having to drive to various places, or you might have schools that are very, very large, and children and youth get lost in these environments. They don't feel like they're known. So scale.
As you were in Morden.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I feel like I had the absolute best, because everybody did know each other, and we were involved in sports and music all the time. And I think music is another element that children and in human beings, when they're learning about how music plays a significant role in, if you have Alzheimer's or dementia, it is one of those pathways of coming, alive again. So these are just some of the many conditions that
So, we talk about when life was simpler, when you could talk to people and people knew who you were. And maybe raising children was simpler, but what is it, would you say, about our world now that really complicates things? What are a couple of the threats, maybe that's too strong a word, and impediments in creating a good environment?
Well, again, from my, unprofessional observation, I fear that we as a species don't have a strong enough understanding of what we as a species need in order to thrive. We may understand it for bears, for wolves, and so on. So I think it begins with us really understanding that. Of course, there's, for children and youth, there's unfettered marketing. Professor Henry Giroux from McMaster calls it a kind of carpet bombing, and that children are just hit with so much all the time. They don't have the space or to really process things. Or reference, yeah. And and of course. The technology is probably the biggest impediment.
Tell me a little bit more, because I think that's the biggest concern, the challenges facing families in raising children. Tell me more about that big concern.
Yes, I mean, my path of, I feel I want to start with the laundry list. If you forgive me, I think I will, actually. It's punishing in its own right, because I thought, well, I keep folders of things, of clippings and films and podcasts and so on. So here's the threat list: addiction, agency loss, attachment to peers rather than to family, attention disorders, behavior disorders, bullying, cheating and dishonesty through anonymity online, communication skills loss, whether it's verbal or written, creativity impediment, gambling, hate speech, human trafficking, image and identity interference, loneliness, loss of healthy physical play. And there's a whole range of medical-related ones: endocrine disruption, vision, hearing, brain development, memory, mental health, of course, which we've heard a lot of, physical harm, pornography, predators, privacy loss and under constant surveillance, radicalization, sextortion, and substance abuse. So those are the folders that I will have built in my computer to keep track of these. And when I first became acquainted to this subject in some detail was when I was about to put my son into school. And I read a wonderful book by a man called Nicholas Carr. And he's an investigative journalist. I think he's written for the New York Times or the Post. And he found that he wrote this book called The Shallows, and he researched the research at that time. This is 10 years ago now. And he felt that the research then was showing that the premature use of technology, the misuse and overuse.
Premature use being?
Well, let's say, now many experts are saying children under the age of 16 should not have these devices. So the premature use is that all of this misuse and abuse or overuse is causing the physiology of the human brain actually to revert back to a pre-printing press physiology. He then wrote another book called The Glass Cage, which is all to do with automation. But that physiology piece really struck me, and I think many of us who, as most of us here probably grew up without technology. At least we were able to get cursive writing and this sort of thing. That we've developed an agency that younger generations now have not been able to develop. I think it was Sherry Turkell, another researcher, that identified that. In fact, the mental health for youth was improving up until about 2012. And at the advent of the smartphone and Facebook, that's when the wheels really started falling off the car again.
So even with computers, which were abounding then,
yes,
it was the smartphones.
Yes, the proliferation of the smartphones. And I think what I've always found interesting is that when we think about the research and testing that needs to be done on so many products, think food, think drugs, this simply has not occurred with this technology. I have my own theory about many of the Silicon Valley companies targeted the ministries of education, and I'm probably sincerely feeling that this was going to be the way of the future. And
targeted in terms of pushing their products.
Yes, I mean Apple and Microsoft. I remember going up to one of the school board offices and just seeing the hallways littered with boxes of the technology. So I think what's also interesting about the Silicon Valley families, I read this wonderful New York Times article about where many families were sending their children to school, and they were actually to Waldorf schools. Now, the Waldorf schools, for those who are not familiar with them, are very, very low tech. My son went to a Waldorf school in London. So they teach cursive writing, they do mental math, and they delay the introduction of technology maybe to grade 8. So when he was in grade 9, he then went and learned the technology, and he was able to get on with high school. But with the Silicon Valley families sending their children to Waldorf schools, you have to ask yourself, what do they know that we don't know?
And the laundry list,
yes,
is quite daunting. And I wonder if there are parts of the list of these impediments that play out differently between boys and girls?
Yes, I mean, the first program that I saw that focused on this was, interestingly, from CNN. It was an Anderson Cooper piece called Being 13. And he was interviewing these 13-year-olds, and it was showing that with girls, they're more prone to use the social media. They are bullying each other. It may persist so long that they'll commit suicide. All the image pieces are very, very prominent now in Snapchat and TikTok, and some of these things Snapchat designed to disappear. So parents have a very, very difficult time to really know what their children are doing. The boys is particularly unnerving. I think many people now have heard about the very serious state for boys and men in society now. And Dr. Leonard Sachs, his book Boys Adrift was one that I found very, very interesting. He pointed out that in 1995 there was a research done in Bethesda, Maryland, that was conducted for about 10 years, a large cohort of children, young children, equally boys and girls. And the query of this research was, did the different regions of the human brain develop the same across the genders? They realized that in actual fact that there are different regions of the brain for the female that develop faster than the boy, other regions that develop faster for the girls, and that it's about the age of 24 when the male brain matures, and about 21 when the female brain matures. He then goes on to set out that he lectures all over the world, that the next. He feels that the education system may have become much more feminized, not just in the sense that there are teachers that are women, many teachers that are women, but that the curriculum is designed more for the female brain than the male, and that the boys would be sitting in class starting at grade 1 or so, and they wouldn't be getting some of what's being taught, and they'd feel stupid. And they see the girls just snapping along. Then he points out that boys need a lot more exercise perhaps than girls, and the schools are not allowing for enough exercise. So this builds up in these boys, and they start fidgeting around. And he says the next step often is that these boys are identified as having attention deficit disorder. Now, that's a very important diagnosis to take place, but he points out that many places you have to maybe wait a year to get into those kind of specialists, so that then schools may be prone to advocating for some kind of medication for the boys, and it's girls as well. I mean, I know some families here in town that this has been the approach. The last step, nearly the last step in this continuum, is when the gaming came in, the boys were able to find something that really fed them in a positive way, and they felt they could accomplish something. But they became addicted, and many of the gaming companies have designed this addiction in quite deliberately with loot boxes and so on. He points. There's another doctor, Nicholas Kadaras, who wrote a book called Glow Kids, and he talks about two cases of families coming in. One where the son came in, and he was in a state of psychosis because he had spent more time online than he had in the real world. But the second case was where the parents had found that their teenage son, was playing games with people across the world for hours and hours on end and sitting in diapers. When I raised this with some people that I met in England who sent their children to very elite schools, and one boy was, he might have been 14, and the parents, we were having dinner, and the father turned to the end of the table and he said to his son, "Do you know anything about this?" And the boy said, "Of course, sure, everybody does it. And we have these contraptions on their head where they can drink smoothies through a straw." So, and I think the real recent film or series of 1-hour pieces that speaks to this, that has rocked, I think, the world. It's been a film called Adolescence, and it talks about a young 13-year-old boy in the UK who murders a peer, a classmate, a girl. He's just a little cherub of a thing. And part of what is revealed through that is a kind of radicalization into misogyny and so on. So this is part of the landscape that is really going on.
So technology, the new technology, this overwhelming technology, is a challenge for young people, but you're saying that it's different for girls than boys, and that there's probably not one way through this. We have to.
Well, I mean, it seems to play itself out differently on the most part between boys and girls. But I think the remedy, as let's say, Australia has they've banned social media from children under the age of 16. We've just learned this week the province of Quebec has banned the smartphones out of the schools altogether. None of this kind of tinkering around where you can have it in class, or you can have it in break or whatever. I think that they're very complex, sophisticated, and sometimes weapons. And I think that there is a very quiet, serious epidemic going on in society. And I think some parents and people are aware of it more than others, but they're really at a loss of what to do.
You used the word weapons.
Yes, I mean, I think that there are many predators, and these companies are very predatory in their nature, which goes back to, you want to feel that they would be tested and researched before they're unleashed. I mean, I'm from the music business. The Napster killed one half the business, but this is far more serious, I think.
And it is, in the history of the world, a fairly new challenge facing all of us. How did you learn about all this? Like, it's clearly been a path of focused self-education.
Yes, I mean, it has been some of the people, the experts that I've mentioned. There's also doctors Gordon Neufeld and Maté that wrote a book some years ago called Hang On to Your Kids. And Dr. Neufeld is a clinical psychiatrist. He's worked with some of the worst, and they suggest that the clinical term of attachment, which for children, which should exist, became unmoored for the first time at the advent of television. And the way I look at it, that you can have family family and tribe and clan here. You can have your friends and peers over on this side. And if there's a dial that goes from here to over to the piers, they found that the attachment became unmoored as more television stations came on and they were running 24/7. That attachment dial moves over closer to the piers. With the internet and social media, it goes straight over to the piers. So their conclusion is we are now living in an age where children are raising children, and parents, educators, adults in authority are simply chopped liver.
Everybody's got a phone. Everybody's got a computer. It's very difficult as a parent to make your child different from the others. So it's a little overwhelming to me, it sounds like. What can we do?
Well, I want to, my observation is that parents have been victimized by this as well. I think those working in the educational system have as well. There are, I think there are different things that can be done. I think of a children's commissioner. I know UNICEF is calling for it, a national children's commissioner. Ontario used to have a children's commissioner, but this government dispatched that person, not literally, but that position. So I think that, when one pulls back from just purely focusing on technology, but looking at, what are those environments back? Are they loved, belonging, the natural world, and so on, and living in scale. I think we need people who are there to solely advocate for children. When it comes to technology, I think there's been enough research now. The experts have been crying from the hills to try to bring in more regulation. I know before this election was called, there was an online harms bill that was on the books, and I hope it will go back on the books. So I think for what people can do is that they can speak to their member of parliament and say we want to see these things like online harms bill. Speak to their MPP and say we need to get those smartphones out of the schools once and for all. Our children are really depending on us. They're defenseless, and I really feel that we've been asleep, very seriously asleep at this, and maybe having. In our own fascination with the devices, we've become addicted ourselves.
Right. And go back to the road to peace. It's just been occurring to me that we're talking together, and that's one of the things that Rotary does. You talk. And this technology is removing some of that, of kids talking to kids, right? What gives you hope?
Well, I tell you one thing is being in this room tonight with this organization, with these people here. I think this gives me hope. I also will say that, I was catching a bit of the coverage of the 80th anniversary of the, Canadians and the Netherlands. And those individuals too, having spent 17 years as an honorary colonel in the Royal Canadian Air Force, there are a lot of very, very noble people within that body of people, of that organization. But I also see many parents, I see educators, I see civilians stepping up and realizing that if we're going to have a healthy world, a peaceful world, we have to all play a part. And I think, when I go back to the education side, I also want to see more civics and history taught in schools. But I do see a lot of hope. I think there's some specific jobs to be done. I know our new Prime Minister must be shouldering that, but I think there's definitely room for hope. But I think there's a lot of I think we have to get on with some of these things now.
Well, Lorena, our time is almost up, but we do have a few minutes if anybody has a question for Lorena about this. They're all thinking.
Right.
Well, don't see anybody? Okay. Lorena, can I just pass this to
Yes.
you? And you could you could have the last word.
Okay. Well, I just printed out some of these little flyers for people if they were interested. It just lists this kind of group of threats that I read out a few minutes ago, and also some organizations. The good news is that there are many very good organizations that are available for people and families who are needing assistance. I was also very delighted to learn that the Avon-Maitland School Board is going to be hosting a screening of the Screenagers films, which we were part of a few years ago, which is a really family-friendly way for people to bring their aunts and their uncles and their youth and their grandparents and so on.
Thoroughly engaging film.
And in a very comfortable way of exploring what these perils are and how parents can, and families and educators can deal with it, particularly until protective legislation comes in. So that's on Tuesday the 6th. They're at the different high schools, the one here in Stratford, and then they're in Mitchell and Listowel and Clinton, so for those of you who live here.
And Lorena's had these printed out, and they're going to be on a table over by that door. And there's also, just speak a little bit about the Stolen Child Project.
Yes, The Stolen Child actually is a Yeats poem, a W.B. Yeats poem that I set to music in 1985. And he speaks about all these glorious places rambling around County Sligo in his youth. And it reminded me a lot of my own youth, you know, rambling around little rivers and so on. And when I came into this era of having a son and being and seeing the childhood that was contemporary, I thought, this is a bit more worrisome. So I started this project that is it's a pet passion of mine that is set to focus on children, not just technology, but other needs that children have. And it's something that I've initiated out of the Falstaff Family Centre.
So there's more information on the Stolen Child website, and you'll pick up one of these and talk together about this. And thank you so much for your attention, and thank you, Lorena.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. I got to tell you, I really miss your voice. Tim's the lucky guy. He gets to hear it every single day. But thank you for being part of that panel. Lorena, if you'll indulge me for just a minute. Quick story. My wife and I were in Italy a few years back, and we were in a small town, Bellagio, and my wife was in a jewelry store, and in the background was your music playing. And I thought, wow, halfway around the world, the rest of the world knows you for your music. I know you, and a lot of the people in this room know you for your advocacy for youth, your advocacy for food security, your recent advocacy for democracy and the threat that's being posed to it in our country right now. You have made an impact on this community, as well as I think in our country. And I know you've been bestowed with a lot of awards, and we would like to bestow you with another. I don't think I need to tell this room who Paul Harris is. I hope I don't. But Paul Harris, if you don't know, was the Rotary founder, and we have a Paul Harris Award recognizing the best of the best for, and it's usually for Rotarians that dedicate a lot of time and service and make an outstanding contribution to their community. But every once in a while, we also give a Paul Harris to those not in Rotary. So on behalf of this room and all the clubs here, we would like to bestow Rotary's highest honor to you for all your achievements, and don't give up the fight. Keep going. Oh, Lorena? Okay, now we're going to do an auction. And then after the auction, we're going to have a hypnotist. Now, I've been practicing a little hypnosis myself, and I just want to practice this quick exercise on you. Everybody pay attention. Look at me in the eye. When I say bid, raise your hand. Okay, let's try this out. Bid. Okay, needs a little more practice. A little more practice. We're going to go quickly on this because we got to get on to the rest of the evening. We have 5 items up for auction tonight. We have a bonus item, not on your list, and this is from our very own Jean Aitchison. I know she's here. Jean Aitchison, back of the room there. She's donated this basket of her delicious preserves and sauces, and they are 17 individual jars, handmade by Jean. Where else can you get a great culinary treat made for you by an Order of Canada recipient, nonetheless? So, all of these jars have been blessed by the Governor General himself. So. All right. I don't know, this is one of these priceless packages, okay? But who will start the bidding off? Bid. I have 100 bid, 1 1/4, 1 1/4. I'm bid 100 here, 1 1/4, 1 1/4 at $100 only, 1 1/4, 150, 150, 150, 175, 175 to Waterma, 175 at 150 and 175 and 200, 200 here to Waterma 2, 2 to Waterma 200, 200 here to Waterma 2, 2 to Waterma 2. I'm at 175 up front, 200 at 200 here to Waterma 200, 200 any further bidding at 200. I'm at 175 and 200. Are we all done? It's hard to see with these lights. At 175, 200, 200 here to Waterma 200. Andrew Williams, you are the lucky winner at 175. By the way, all of the money raised from this auction will go to the projects that you heard about today. So just know that. So thank you, Andrew. Lot number 1, lot number 2 now. This is the Romantic Stratford package. You will be spending 2 nights at the Bruce Hotel. And if anybody knows the Bruce, it is a diamond-rated hotel. One of the very few, five diamonds. Peter's been there many times. Anyway, 5-diamond hotel right here in Stratford. Now, there are restricted dates, so it's basically the off-season for the hotel rooms. But 2 nights, luxury living, and you will also receive a pair of tickets from the Stratford Festival. So there's quite a package. And how much for this? Who will give me 1,000 and start? Somebody will. 1,000 and go. 1,000? $1,000. Anybody go $1,000? 500. 500 here. I got 5 bids. 6 where? 600 here to Waterman. 600 on bid 5 here to Waterman. 600. Remember, this is 2 nights, not 1. 6 at the back. Now 7 and 8. 8 here to Waterman 8. I got 7 here to Waterman 800. 809. 9 to Waterman 9. On bid 8 we give 900. 9 here to Waterman 9. 9 to Waterman 900. 8 at the back. 900. 900 we go 900 on bid 8 at the back and 900. At 9 here to Waterman 9. 9 to Waterman 900. At 8 any further bidding at 900. Folks, it's 5 1/4, 550 a night. So help yourself. Or 600. Maybe it's 800. I don't know. I have 800. Who said 9? 9 here to Waterman 900. 9 any further bidding at 900. You bought it back there. $800. What's your table number back there? 28? Thank you. Okay, next item. We have the cottage getaway. No, sorry. We have the backyard staycation. So, yeah, the backyard staycation. I wasn't even looking at the screen. Huh. Okay, so it's been up there all this time. So, little bonus to this. You see 2 chairs in the picture. There's actually 4. 4 chairs, not 2. And those are made right here in Stratford by CRP Plastics. I've got a set at home. They're the best lawn chairs. You also get this custom patriotic wood stove. Strong and free, Canada. And you get this igloo cooler right full of goodies in there. So there's quite a package. All right, on the backyard staycation, you get 4 chairs, the cooler, and the SBS Metals wood stove. And what about fire pit? That's what you call it. All right, and what about bid? Who's got 2,000 for the lot? 2,000. 2 and go. 2 to here to what about 2,000? Okay, I'm not lying this time. The chairs are worth $400 each. Okay? So do the math. Who give me 2,000? 2,000, anybody go 2,000? 1,000 and start. 1,000 and go. Add $1,000, anybody go $1,000. Add $1,000, anybody go 1,000. Who said 1,000 bid? 1,100. I'm bid 1,000, we give 1,100. Add 1,100, anybody give 1,100. Add 1,100. 1,000's bid. Now you get 4 chairs here. Did I say that? 4 chairs at $400 each. At 1,000 bid. Who said 1,100? At 1,100, we give 1,100. I'm bid 1,000. Where's that hypnotist? I'm going to bring him in for real. Hypnotize all you guys. So they're all flat packed. We can deliver them to you. Wait a minute. I don't know if we can get this across the border. Anyway, we'll do whatever we can if we can get the bidding up here. I got 1,000 bid. Who said 1,100? Add 1,100. Do you want them 1,100? Add 1,000 and go. 1,100. Add 1,100. Thank you. 11 bid. 1,200. 12 here. Do what about 1,200? I'm bid 11. You want them at 1,200? 12 at the back. 13. 13. Do what about 13? 12 and 13. Now 14. 14 and 15. 15. Do what about 15? I'm bid 14 and 15. 1,600. 16. Yeah. Now we sold the chairs. 16. 17. 17. 17 at 16 bid. 17. 17 here. What about 17? I'm bid 16 and 17. Are we all done? I'm bid 16 and 17. 17. 18. 1,800. 19. 19. It's just Jean. She doesn't need it. 19. 19. At 18. 19. 19. 2,000. 2,000. You want them at 2,000? See, I told you she didn't need it. 2,000. But do you want it? 2,000. At 19 bid. 2,000. 2,000. You want them at 2,019 and 2,000. Are we all done? All done. Sold $1,900. Well done. Okay, next lot. We have the Cottage Getaway. This is on Lake Huron between between Bayfield and Grand Bend, and a short walk to the beach that holds up to 6 guests, and is a date to be negotiated other than August. August is out. But you're close to some wineries, microbrewery. You can walk to Hessenland. It's got all the modern amenities, Wi-Fi, satellite, fire pit, air conditioning, washer, dryer, dishwasher, central air. It's for, well, you ask all the right questions, don't you, Peter? It's for a week, is it? It's for a week. 1 week, and donated by our very own Ron Anderson and his wife, Frances. So thank you. This retails for about $1,700-1,800 bucks. So help yourself. a week on Lake Huron. And what am I bid? Who give me 2,000 for this? 2,000. Give me 1,000 and start. 1,000 and go. 1,000 bid. 1,100. I got 1,000. We go 11 and 12. 12 here to what am I? 12 and 13. 13 here to what am I? 13. 14. 14 go 15. 15 what am I? 15. 16. 1,600. 16 now 17. 17 here to what am I? 17. 17 we give 17. I'm bid 17. 18. 18 here to what am I? 18. 18. 19. 19 we give 19. I'm bid 18 here to what am I? 19. At 1,900. 19. Where's all my Godrich people? 1,900. Yeah, but this is between Grand Bend and Bayfield. This is a trip south for them. 18 bid 1,900. 19, what am I? 19, 18 and 1,900. 19. 19. 2,000. Yeah. He said 19. Now we'll go 2. 2 here to what am I? 2. 2 to what am I? 2. He'll go one more. 22. 2,000. 2 here to what am I? 2. Any further bidding at 2,000? Mr. Rich, you bought her for 1,900. Oh, these. Yeah, sorry. Did I mess you up there? Explore Stratford. We missed one here. My apologies. This is a 2-night package right here at the Best Western, Arden Park, and also includes a visit to the Stratford Perth Museum, which you don't want to miss. I'm on that, or used to be on that board. Stratford dollars to spend downtown Stratford and enjoy some sweet treats from the Chocolate Trail. So this is quite a package here. 2 nights here at the Arden Park. And what am I bid? And who give me 1,000 on this lot? $1,000. $1,000. Anybody go 1,000? Who said 1,000 at start? 500. 500 here to what am I? 500. 5 here to what am I? 5 and 6. 6 here to what am I? 600. I'm bid 5. Only 6 where? 6 to what am I? 600. I'm bid 6 here to what am I? 6. I'm bid 5 and 6. At 600 here to what am I? 6. I'm bid 5 and 600. 600. 6. Thank you. Now 7. 7 here to what am I? 7. At 600 only. That's just the price for the admission to the museum. 700. You can touch Justin Bieber's shoes. I got 6 bids. 7 where? 700. Any further bidding at 700? And Tony, you bought it. 600. Thank you. Okay, we have, yes, this is quite a package for all you travelers. We have a package called Portugal Awaits. It's a 4-day stay at the Amalia Rodriguez Estate. In the 1960s, legendary fado singer Amalia Rodriguez and her husband, oh, I'm not going to pronounce all these names. Anyway, they fell in love, and they built an iconic holiday retreat, and by a renowned architect, Mr. Silva. And anyway, sounds absolutely stunning, but don't take my word. I'm going to call Stephen Knox from the Rotary Club of London, I believe. He's going to describe it a little better than I can.
So last year, we had the privilege and the pleasure of attending 4 nights, and we added 6. And many of you know about the Aroma Restaurant and a gentleman called Philippe Gomez, or Philippe Gomes, depending on if you know him Felipe or Philippe. But he is the manager and a shirt-tail relative of Amalia Rodriguez. We stayed in her suite. You overlook the ocean. You have a private beach. There's walking trails along the Algarve. There's beautiful fishing villages where you can get food. It is a charming, charming place to be. It is relatively expensive compared to other places in Europe. So I strongly recommend if you want to go to Portugal, this would be a lovely space to visit, and I recommend you stay longer than 4 days. So the chef actually will take you on a tour of the area, spend probably half a day or a day with you. The meals, at least 2 dinners are included. You have breakfasts included, and he's a chef, so he loves to take care of his people. So I encourage you to have a chance to visit if you can. So it is about 2.5 hours south of Lisbon, right on the Algarve. So it's about an hour further down when you get all the way down to the base of the coast there. It's about an hour further. So it's about 2.5 hours south of Lisbon. We rented a car, and like I said, we spent 10 days there and then spent 4 more days in Lisbon, and just a charming place to be.
Thank you. Thank you. I think he described it a lot better than I did. All right. What am I bid? 4-day stay in Portugal. What am I bid? Who's got 1,000? 1,000 to go. $1,000. Nobody go 1,000. Give me 5 and start. 5 bid. 6 where? 600 here. What am I? 600. I'm bid 6 now. 7. 700. Do you want them at 700? 7 and 8. 800. We give 800. 800. Do you want them at 8 and 9? 9 here. Do you want them at 9? Oh. Small technicality here. Expiration date, we should note. March 30th, 2026. Okay. So, are you still good with $800? You were bidding back there? No, you were bidding. Are you still good at 8? Yeah? Do you want to go 9? You have to use it before March 26th, that's all. 900? 900, what am I, 900? 900, do what am I, 900? I'm bid 8, we give 900. 900, we give 900. 900, do what am I, 900? 9 bid. Now $1,000. That. So is my wife. Do you want to go 1,000? She says 1,000. 1,100. 1,100. Maybe we should go together. Drink some scotch on the beach. Huh? We're all Rotarians here. I got 1,000. We give 1,100. What's she saying? 1,100? 1,100? At 1,000 bid. Somebody want to break the tie here? At 1,000 bid. 1,100. Any further bidding at 1,100? 11 bid. 1,200. 1,200. What about 12 here? What? 12, 13, 13. I think she's done. I'm pretty sure she's done. You want to go 1,300? At 13 here to what about 1,300? Any further bidding at 1,300? Run, talk her into it. 1,300? 1,250? 1,250? 1,250? Last call. I don't want to. No, she says no. That sounds fair to me. 1,250? No, she says no. Any further bidding? Terry, you bought it. What? You're going to Portugal. All right, that concludes the live auction. I don't know how this hypnotist thing works now. We've got some money added up. Have we got a list of names? The final list here? Oh, I should turn around and look at the screen here. So we have 7, and I believe there are there are some Rotary students here also want to be on this stage. So I think the stage will hold 15 or 16. Is Dale K here? Is there 15 it holds? All right. Is our hypnotist here? Is he coming? Okay, when I say bid, raise your. Oh, right, we're going to do silent auction. Right. Terry, go meet him out front. Anybody that bid on the live auction, just go out front. We're going to announce the winners of the silent auction first. I think they've been gathered up, or have they? Is there a small delay? Do I have to tell stories now? Okay. Everybody get that? No.
Sorry. There is a screen near reception that has a full detailed list, and we're going to put the names of the winners on the screen in just a moment when I finish the slide.
All right. All right. Well, thank you all for participating. I think next conference, if you do a live auction, my suggestion would be to serve up a lot of scotch before before the auction. It just tends to speed things along a little quicker. So anyway, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You're in for some fun entertainment shortly. And now's the time for, I guess, for a bathroom break.